Down there comes up the wall to Peter. Back to McIsaac. Peter, right circle, snaps it on net. Puck loose out front. A score! Chase Harrington with 56.3 seconds, and Spokane has tied this game at 3. Now it's Sarkanoff up the left side. Gets it to Harrington. Harrington moving to the circle, snaps a shot, and a score! With 7:21 left in overtime, and we are headed to Game 6 as Spokane will win it by a final score of 4-3.
Gentlemen, who would have thought we would be in this position we are in currently?
I had no idea.
After Monday, I didn't think so.
Yeah. No. Well, let's just face the facts right away. I mean, the Chiefs have been the better team in this series overall.
I think
hard to
so.
say that. Hard to say that's not the case. I mean, I saw us going 2-1 at home over that stretch of 3.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to have to be going down 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're right back in the series, so.
No, absolutely. And even that, the loss on Monday, it was a heartbreaking loss in overtime. A penalty that was avoidable that we took that put them on the power play, and inevitably they scored. I mean, they're the third-ranked power play in the league for a reason, and they got it done in overtime. But yeah, that was a heartbreaker for sure. And then obviously going into the next game, I did not have many, high hopes going in. I was thinking, kind of mentally preparing myself for it to kind of be the last game of the year, and then, all that stuff too. And then I was pretty impressed with the way that they played in that game 4.
Overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backs against the wall, baby. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, and like I was saying, the fact of the matter is that this team had a mediocre goaltender in place of Josh Ravensbergen, we would have won this series already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's stolen at least 2, if not all 3 of the wins for Prince George.
Definitely 2 for though. I agree. The last 2.
Yeah. I mean, it's night and day. I mean, he's a special player, and like TC said last episode, he's going to be in the NHL. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be in the NHL. And he just continues to boost his resume.
And let's not forget, I mean, just taking a step back, we talk about all the time you need a goalie to steal a win for you in a playoff series, if not more than one win. I mean, hey, he's doing that for them. Because, I mean, outside of special teams, we've dominated 5-on-5 in this series.
No doubt about it.
Our power play has been not enjoyable to watch, and their power play has been lethal. I mean, all 3 of their goals on Thursday were power play goals.
They were 3 for 3.
Basically, it was a foregone conclusion. If we took a penalty, they were scoring on it. So
pretty much.
But to the Chiefs' credit, putting the first 2 games behind them, in which they could not stay out of the box, they did over this 3 games. But outside of the overtime penalty in Game 3, they've done a very good job staying out of the box at home.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
over these 3
agree
games. And obviously, there was the Coco cross-check to the face and all that stuff in Game 4. But they did a really, really good job staying out of the box. And I think, I mean, that's ultimately why we're sitting here prepping for a Game 6 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Among a few other things. But very impressed with the way they were able to kind of turn that around. Because it was just parade to the box. Games 1 through 3, so
no doubt.
Yeah,
and it gets to a team that has as good of a power play as they do, especially come this time of year, and with our penalty kills struggling recently too. It's like that's just not a recipe for success when you're taking chintzy chirping and hooking penalties, and then these undisciplined penalties that you got to shy away from come this time of year too. With obviously guys are going to be trying to get under your skin, especially if you're a known agitator and know that you're going to retaliate against them, because they always take the retaliation guy. They never take the original agitator. They always take the guy that retaliates. And
Yep.
we saw that in game four. And you know it I don't want to say that since I will actually, you know what? Yeah, I will say. I say since that moment when Coco got that 5 minute game misconduct, this team has been a lot more disciplined. And
Overall, yeah. And
y-
Ezzy's
y-
been spectacular too.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, we're talking goaltenders as he's kept us in this series. He's saved this season for us a handful of
Yes,
times the
Yeah.
last couple of games too.
Yeah,
exactly.
he's had his fair share of 10 bell saves on 2-on-1s, breakaways,
Hmm.
just in general that has made a big difference as well. So,
You
excuse me.
froze
So
on
it's been
us.
Oh, did I?
Oh, there you go. You're good now.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't
Oh,
know.
you're good.
Uh
Technology,
anyway, yeah, our goaltender's been up to the task.
No
That's
doubt.
very
all I
much
would say.
so. Very much
So,
so.
it's been a very even series. They just happen to fall back 3-0 and they've dragged themselves back from the dead. So,
Yeah.
um really excited for tomorrow. Got a good feeling about it, but we'll see where that goes. And
I like it.
Well,
I like the games when we can put up so many shots, like we have a couple of these games, last games
yeah,
too.
well,
Especially,
that's what I'm saying. It's like we're putting up 40 shots a game on Ravensburg, and he's stopping 38, 39 of
you,
them.
you have to
You
get.
have to keep putting the puck on net, and I think the Chiefs have done a really good job of
They
that
have.
in these last three games at home. And I just it the thing that I'm concerned about is going back into that Prince George barn, and if that's going to continue, because it has to if we're going to
Right.
pull the reverse sweep off. Which
Quant-
obviously I'm getting ahead of myself because we still got to win two straight. But
yeah.
Quantity over quality. Just try.
exactly,
Yeah.
I mean. And I think the Chiefs did a lot better of a job in these last couple of games of crashing the net when they're throwing it on net too.
Getting in his grill a little bit.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's something you got to do. You have to take away his eyes, and I think, and even in game three, I think we did a really good job of
We did.
that. We that goal, that shorthanded goal that we scored.
How bad is it we've been better shorthanded than
Oh
on
no,
the
I,
power
I
play?
guess I guess that was the next game. But I was thinking the Coco got that goal to tie it up in the second period. Prince George answered pretty quickly, but then we got that power play late in the period, and it was one of those plays where you had I think it was Peter. It was in front of the net, and just he couldn't see a damn thing. And Sparks
Hmm.
had just that perfect shot up into the top left corner. I mean, that's what you have to do if you're on the power play. If you can get that lane with the goalie not being able to see it, I mean, you gotta go for it. But that's the other thing. You gotta hit the goddamn net.
True.
That
How
was a
much
big
did we?
issue.
How much have we said that the last couple
I mean,
games?
that was a really big issue in game five.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, we won the game, but we could have put up two or three, four more goals if we would have hit the net. I mean, there was a handful of opportunities where Ravensburg couldn't see a damn thing,
Right.
and just you flat out missed the net.
I mean, shit, we went 0 for 6 on the power play.
In
Game 4.
In game four, right?
Yeah,
game four, 0
yeah,
for
it was.
6,
Hmm.
Yep.
1 for 5, game three, and then 1 for 6 in game five. So
So
That's
we've been getting our fair share of opportunities on the power play.
exactly.
Prince George has been taking a lot of
they've
penalties.
been
They have.
undisciplined.
And
They've been the undisciplined
They
team,
have,
no
yeah,
doubt.
but it hasn't cost them.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like
Well,
our power play can't seem to find the back of the net consistently.
It's not for lack of movement or lack of effort. It's just not.
Yeah, it's not falling for whatever reason. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I feel like they do a little bit too much of the moving the puck around, trying to find the open lane. But it's with a
They're
team as
trying.
aggressive on the penalty kill as Prince George is too, you got to do the quick passes and just
Right.
go.
We're
Like you
trying to
can't.
fine tune it just a little bit too much.
Yeah, and this time of year, especially with the penalty kill that PG has, you can't be doing that. You got to just go, try to get on net and just battle. And again, like I said, I feel like as this series has gone along, the Chiefs have gotten better with that. Ravensburg has just been unbelievable.
He has.
So, going back to game three, the overtime loss, I really thought going into that third period, it was anybody's game, and both
Hmm.
teams had some really good chances. And man, I can count. 4 or 5 huge saves that Essler made late in the third period that really kept the game tied and kept us alive, honestly.
Yes.
And
Yes.
um, it
We were
obviously didn't end the way that we wanted, but he did his part for sure.
it didn't make a difference, but I felt like we were fortunate enough to get that game to overtime because, like you said,
Yeah. No, I mean they
they
really started putting the pressure on late in the
they
third
did.
period. And I felt like that was probably the most consistently even game in the series overall.
Hmm.
Because like I said, I really truly believe that the Chiefs have been the much better team this
The
series
last two
overall.
games, especially,
Yeah, and
and
I'm
not
just
just counting the score.
and I'm just hoping that with, the momentum that we've built over the last couple of games that we've won going back up to PG, that they can just continue and realize, these guys are beatable. And I
Hmm.
think Prince George is sweating right now.
They
And
have to be.
and quite frankly, they should be sweating because I and their fans are
They
definitely sweating.
Yeah, they should have. They should. They should have closed us out. Honestly,
Well,
Yeah.
especially when I mean, game four was one thing, but especially when you find yourself up two
right?
with 10 minutes left or whatever it was about the time they scored that third goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They find themselves up two, and I mean, they're already thinking they won the game. Like they're waving bye bye to the fans. They're doing all
Hmm.
kinds of extra shit.
oh yeah.
And sure enough, just Chiefs chipped away and stole that one from them. And yeah, especially after choking that lead like they did in Game Five, they've got to be, like I said in the fan group, like that bus ride for them had to have been brutally long
I would think
Yeah,
so.
no doubt.
compared to what the Chiefs. I mean, they probably flew by for the Chiefs. So, I mean, it's it's interesting. I'm gonna be very that first period tomorrow. I'm gonna be really interested to see how the teams respond.
Yeah.
Um, Specifically Prince George with their fans behind them. I expect them to come out fast and probably pissed off.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, similarly to how Game One went, like they got that goal in the first minute, and then the Chiefs responded and actually ended up jumping out to a 2-goal lead before, the penalties started happening, and
Right.
we don't have to beat that dead horse, but I think it might play out very similarly that first period. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe the players will be a little tight, knowing that they should not be in this situation. That is
Hmm.
Prince George. Um, so I mean, it'll also be interesting to see how the Chiefs respond because like they just had a really emotional comeback win 2 nights ago, a couple days off, now in front of a hostile crowd against a team that is pissed. Like,
Yeah.
are they able to manage their emotions as well and not let the Prince George guys chirp and get in their head as much as they have in the earlier games? So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
going to be a
It's gonna
big
be
it's going to be a test.
yeah.
And I think if they can play with that same mindset that they played in the last two games after that undisciplined penalty by Armstrong, then I
Hmm.
really think that if they keep, with that attitude and they just control their emotions that way, we're going to be fine. I mean, the big thing for me is going to be just not taking penalties.
Yeah.
And that's literally going to be like the biggest key to the game for me because if we give Prince George 2, 3 power plays, they're going to capitalize.
That being said, how do you see Coco playing tomorrow?
I think he'll play his game. I really think now that we were 10 minutes away from seeing his season end and watching that comeback, I feel like he's like, okay, shit, I get to play again. I got to do what I got to do, but I got to be better about that shit. And I'm sure that that's kind
Right,
of everybody's main focus right now, especially even though we won the game, they still went 3 for 3 on the power play in game five. So
right,
like that's got to
exactly.
be a huge number one talking point in that locker room going into game six. Because like I said, if you give them 2, 3 power plays, it's a done deal.
We
Right.
were also
But
missing one of our top penalty killers.
true.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
exactly.
Coco, who we
Yeah,
now will have back, assuming he can not make boneheaded decisions again.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is Prince George playing in front of their home crowd, they're going to be extra cocky too.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be extra cocky. They're really going to be trying to get under his skin, and obviously he knows at this point he's got a target on his back from the officials too because of this stuff. And it's the same way with Sarkinov too. But I feel like Sarkinov has done a much better job since
He
coming back
has.
from his suspension. He's still playing his physical game, but I feel like he's just been a lot more consistent overall since
He
he
was the
came back too.
difference maker the last couple games.
Oh,
Not even giving credit to his assist on the game winner the other night in overtime.
you know what? I think that's gonna that assist that he had on the game winner is gonna go, under the radar for a lot of people. But that
Right.
was a huge play that he made
Yes, it
on the
was.
boards right there.
Yes, it was.
I mean, he's battling on the board behind the net, comes up, takes the check, reaches with his stick while he's still being kind of pinned and flicks it
Keeps
off the
the
boards
play
right to
alive.
Harrington. I mean, that was
Yep.
literally that is perfect. And that is exactly the kind of little things that need to be done to win a playoff series.
And then went straight towards the net after that too, to be a factor if need be.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just that little chip play. It's gonna be the smallest little thing that can make the biggest difference. And if he doesn't do that play, the Chiefs might not be, in Prince George right now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, huge credit to Sarkey there for sure. And, we'll get to kind of the game four stuff here in a second, but going back to game five, rather, going back to game four, um, great to see the Chiefs get off to an early start and get the
Hmm.
first goal, shorthanded goal, nice little 2-on-1 shorty from Owen Martin and Logan Wormold. Perfect pass, and he just found the back of the net. Um,
On a major penalty, no less.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the major, huh?
Hmm.
And then second period, PG would get on the board pretty early in the period, and then later in the period, it was pretty back and forth until the 15-minute mark. Sarkey got his second goal of the playoffs. Just kind of a net front scramble between the circles and kind of a little flick. He just kind of flicked it, and it just
Hmm.
wobbled over everybody and found its way into the back of the net. And then I feel like after that, I felt like Ravensburg kind of got a little bit rattled,
Seemed like it.
just a tiny bit, because obviously there was so much happening in front of the net. He didn't even see the puck go in, and that's rare for him, obviously, because he's. Oh, sorry, I thought Cat just scored, but it was fucking Schwartz. Never mind. Um, but that goal that Burkhart scored, I mean, that's not something you expect to see a goalie of
No.
Ravensburgen's caliber to give up, you
No.
know.
No.
Um, and that puts the Chiefs up by 2 goals going into the third period, and so you're feeling really good about the fact that okay, if we continue to play like this, we're going to be able to get a game five going in on Wednesday. And sure as shit, they did. I mean, obviously, they got that goal late when they pulled the goalie. That the Chiefs were gassed. I mean, that line was out
That
there for
that
so
goal was a
long.
little too easy, but yes.
But they were able to hold on, and the crowd blew up at the end of the game when the horn went off, and the Chiefs win that game 3-2 and hold on to force a game five. So,
How many 3-2 games are we gonna have this series?
what was
Got
that?
three. Well,
That
we've
was
got
the
three so
third,
far.
right?
We've had three
Yeah.
so
Got
far,
three.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, really gutsy win by the Chiefs.
Agreed.
And every game that we play the rest of the season, whether tomorrow's the last one or we go to 7 or whatever, every win's got to be gutsy at this point. They got to continue to play gutsy.
Agreed.
What did you guys think, watching Prince George play in person those last 3 games? I mean, I felt like they looked a little bit like lost even strength.
Like they
I
didn't know what hit him.
Like you said, the Chiefs were the better team 5-on-5, and they have been in every game. But I
Hmm.
feel like they rely so much on their special teams that if you can stay out of the box and expose them 5-on-5, they are so beatable.
I think so
Yep.
too.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, but you also have to find a way to beat Ravensburgen, and that comes down to being willing to do the hard things. And it seemed like maybe earlier in the series, some guys on the Chiefs weren't willing to do the hard things, weren't willing to go down to the paint, weren't willing to maybe eat a puck if they have to. And they seem to have found that they need to do that, and so they've done a better job the past few games of getting in his face and being around the net, getting some greasier goals, and I mean he does I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when he gets taken out of his game, he gets shaky.
He
He does.
does.
Like all it really takes is you get that one goal on him. Like once you kind of break that dam, he starts to kind of wobble a
A
little.
little. It
Yeah.
seemed like it.
Yeah, like I just noticed like he all of a sudden like he goes from being like super sharp, super fundamental, everything's in front of him. He makes all the saves he has to, and then one gets past him and he sort of, maybe it's like a mental thing, but he sort of starts to kind of look a little shaky. I mean, like Burkhar's goal, for example, that
Right.
never should have gone in,
Mhm.
Right.
but it was 57 seconds after Sarkinov had just rushed the net and got his, and then all of a sudden Burkhar throws a little squibbler at him and squeaks through his arm and into the net. So, and even on Thursday, once the Chiefs got the goal to make it a one-goal game, he started to look really, really shaky.
He did.
And again, they just got to find a way to get him out of his game.
I
And
commented to Elliot in that game on Thursday too that shooting along the ice and not having him have a chance to glove a puck is kind of key, I think, too.
shoot at his pads.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's the other thing that I think kind of throws a lot of the guys off is he's a right-handed catching glove, and most goalies aren't. And so they
Yeah.
continue to shoot, what would normally be the stick side, but it's right into his glove, and he swallows up, 90% of the pucks that come to that side of his body. And
Mhm.
then, the first goal the Chiefs scored in game 5 was Sam Oremba's goal for that pass from Gillespie, and he just one timed it. It was stick side. He didn't see the damn puck until it was already behind him. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to continue to shoot six side, and the same thing on the overtime goal with Harrington. It was a six side
It
shot
was.
too. And granted, there was a lot of factors into that. There was a lot of traffic in front. They'd been out there forever, but they shot stick side. They need to continue to shoot to the stick side. I think on Ravensburger because he's proven that he can snatch up 90% of the pucks with his glove, but he hasn't proven, that he can do that as well on the stick side. I think that's a huge key that these guys need to be doing. I mean, yeah, you need to
Yeah.
continue to throw shots on net and throw the low off the pads and have guys crash the net too, for sure, no doubt. But if you're going to pick your shot and pick your corner, I mean, shoot stick side on him and
Yeah.
make him have to cheat a little bit to make that save.
Yeah. You pointed that out to me last game. I wasn't really paying attention to that, but you pointed it out.
Yeah, it's a good observation. I never noticed that.
Yeah, because he's one of the rare right-handed catching gloves, and
Yeah.
I think that throws a lot of guys off.
Now that you bring that up, I think I remember because I was watching Game 4 at home on TV, and I think Boiler pointed that out. He said something at one point about him being a righty glove and that being a little
Yeah.
abnormal, but I didn't think much of it. But that's a good point.
Yeah. But I mean, what's your guys' mindset going into game 5? After the gutsy win the couple days before, and kind of where were you guys thinking? What were you guys thinking going in?
House money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
House money. When you go down 3-0 in any best of 7 series, whether it's basketball, hockey, baseball, whatever sport, if at that point, I mean it is truly cornered animal, and once you get a win or two, you're purely playing with the house at that point.
Yeah.
And going forward, like again, the pressure is on the Cougars.
On them. Yeah.
And for the Chiefs, we get one more game of that cornered animal thing. Because if we get it to 7, both teams are are level
Right.
at that point. And so
Starting
then
over.
and then for them, now the pressure is obviously on that they just choked a 3-0 lead. We don't have to get into that because it hasn't happened yet. But we get one more of that cornered animal. They had cornered animal on Thursday. They played like it, just like they played like it on Wednesday. And I don't know if this is helping them find an identity, which they have sorely struggled with all season, as we've talked about. They just, for whatever reason, could never seem to
Yeah.
get some cohesiveness together. Maybe they found an identity through having their backs against a wall. Takes a lot. Even you said Wednesday was gutsy. If Wednesday was gutsy, Thursday was.
Yeah.
Yes.
No
Oh
doubt.
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
because once Sparks got his shoulder blown up, I mean,
Something
yeah,
flipped.
yeah, and they
It did.
still gave up a goal after that.
Right.
But then it just they took over.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe Prince George fell back and we're just trying to play keep away, trying to grind clock or whatever it was. They had no killer instinct. And the Chiefs just they finally broke through the power play goal and then the first Harry goal with 57 seconds left or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They were just they played like a different team after Sparks. I don't know if it was a fuck you sort of thing or maybe it was watching the PG players wave bye to the fans with 12 minutes left or the way fucking Vaughn fucking did this shit through his helmet and chirped at the bench as he went to the box. I don't know. But something happened and more of that please cuz
please. Exactly. Especially we ended up short-handed after all that too.
Let's play a full 60 like that.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, you have to be doing that, especially if your backs are against the wall. But if they play like they played the last 10 minutes of that third period on Thursday, then we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I think having that momentum, getting those huge gutsy wins it's going to carry over. And they just have to be able to control their emotions and control the crowd level. Obviously, the crowd's going to be raucous up in PG tomorrow. And so they're going to have to make sure they can kind of stay in their own head.
And don't get sucked into the officials making their calls like they did in the first two games.
Exactly. Because the crowd's going to have an impact on that. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest key, I think, for me. But
and what referees we end up getting up there in bumfuck Egypt?
Bumfuck Egypt.
It's a little colder than Egypt.
You know what
Chad.
I mean? Bumfuck and the bump up Arctic. How about that?
It's actually supposed to be 50 degrees there tomorrow.
Is it really?
50 Fahrenheit.
Oh,
wow.
Thanks for specifying. 50
I had
Celsius.
I forgot it's Canada.
50 Celsius would be pretty fucking hot.
Yeah, that'd be hot. Yeah, no shit.
It would be. Surface of the sun.
But yeah, going back to game 5, I mean, pretty even first period back and forth. I thought I was both teams you could tell they were fatigued. I mean, both
they
teams
were gassed,
definitely exhausted. Playing the third game in 4 nights, something like that. And then I was a little bit surprised that when they came back from PG, they only had that one travel day and then they were playing the next day. I was a little bit surprised by that, but I feel like that's probably maybe an arena thing.
Maybe
it must have been.
They gave it to them on the back end though, because now
true.
Going back up to Prince George, they had the travel day plus another day.
Right.
So, because I would have thought following that same pattern, we would have played Game 6 tonight, but
it's
Sunday.
Same.
But yeah, like I said, both teams you could tell they were fatigued. They played a lot of hockey in the past week, and it really showed in the first period. There wasn't really anything too exciting in the first period. I mean, both goalies had to make a few saves.
It was like a typical playoff hockey game.
Yeah. It felt a little bit low intensity for me.
Exactly.
Obviously scoreless after the first period. Second period is when everything started happening, and it just gradually got crazier and crazier as the game went on. But let's real quick talk about halfway through they had their power play goal. That Brock Sauch guy has just been a chief killer all series.
He has been a chief. He's leading all the playoff scores right now. I saw that today.
Yeah, he's got
12 points.
Yeah,
he's got 12 points.
Yeah, 5 goals and 7 assists so far in the playoffs. But he's been a chief killer for sure, and the Chiefs need to do a better job of kind of
keying on him a little bit.
Yeah, they got to make sure that he's shut down. And
I agree.
I was a little bit irritated on that power play goal too, because the Chiefs had done such a good job leading up to that on the penalty kill, and I think they packed it in so tight, and you can't leave a guy like that wide open.
No,
somebody missed their assignment on that penalty kill for sure, and he had all the time in the world to find the open hole on Ezzy.
Yeah,
and he's been a scoring machine for sure.
Let's also not forget it was 0-0 when Kazicki's spleen exploded.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, it's hard not to say that probably gave them a little bit of a bump. Like, oh shit, like our guy just
I
at the
would think
time, no,
so.
like nobody knew what it was. It was a medical emergency.
Yeah.
Um, and so they scored that power play goal not too long after
Hmm.
he passed out on the bench. And I mean, hey, I've never been at a sporting event with a major medical emergency before. So seeing him just crumble on the bench the way he did,
It's
That
scary.
that
dude,
was
that shit
terrifying.
was it was
Yeah.
scary.
That's the
And
And
second
like
time I've seen that on that exact bench. Cole Hamlin did that
it
many
wasn't
years
Cole
ago,
Hamlin. It
wasn't it?
was it no, it was you said it was the guy way back in like '01 or '02 or
I
something.
can't remember who was it. I
I
can't
can't
remember.
remember. I can't remember who you said it was, but
that was a heart thing, right?
Yes,
Yeah. That's what it usually is, and that's what I thought it was.
that's what scared me because like you see a guy all of a sudden, and thank God that there was a neutral zone face-off right there, and the play was
Hmm.
exactly.
stopped because that allowed them to kind of get attention to him right away.
Yeah, everyone was right
But
there.
I mean, see, I know I feel like I noticed it before anybody else in the crowd did because I looked down because you see the trainer like kind of like having both of his hands on the guy and he's like leaning forward and I'm like, oh shit, something's not right with that fucking dude.
Yeah.
And they leaned him back and then that's when everybody started, freaking out and panicking and they grabbed the doctors from the stands. But like, I don't think I've ever heard the arena that quiet.
I never have either.
I
Not
mean, it
even
was
for the national anthem.
no,
Exactly.
it was almost eerie, like how
Hmm.
quiet it was. Um, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how both teams were going to come out and play after that because I
Well,
mean,
yeah, because you after you watch a guy like who nobody knows what's wrong with him
yeah.
at that point. We didn't find out that his spleen ruptured until the next day.
Hmm.
So both teams, both Prince George and the Cougars, now have to figure out a way to compartmentalize and lock in. And maybe for PG, it gave them a little bit of a bump. I don't know. They played a little. It was weird. That was
Who
just a
knows?
very weird scenario. Glad he's okay. Apparently,
Yeah.
I I want to say this just as a general note to everybody. Please be careful with what you say online because there was a lot of oh, it's this, it's that getting
Yeah.
spread around by both Chiefs and Prince George fans.
Hmm.
Don't do that. Like
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, yeah, it's easy to speculate. Like, oh, maybe he's diabetic, low blood sugar. Maybe it's his heart. Maybe he's got a heart issue. Apparently, he's
Right.
got that was a rumor that he has a heart issue. I don't know if that's true. Um,
I had heard that this had happened to him earlier this season during one of their first games of the season too, something similar to
yeah.
that. But yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
dude, if you got a heart issue, I'm sorry, hockey ain't for you. You
Yeah.
it's not worth it. But hey, then it turned out it was his spleen. And did somebody hit him? Like, does anybody know?
I
Like,
feel like it had to be something like that. So he had to have taken a
yeah,
hit or taken like blocked a shot like this
yeah,
right to the right spot and
yeah,
obviously the spleen rupturing is just going to cause a ton of internal bleeding, which is why he
yeah,
obviously went unconscious. But it's just scary. I mean, it was really scary for sure. But
It was.
getting to hear that he was over at Sacred Heart Children's and getting his spleen taken out and everything too. That
hmm
was obviously that he was conscious and okay after that. It was obviously great. I was told that his parents were in town at the game too, so that was probably good for them to be able to be here with him too. So kudos to everybody that you know rushed to him
Headed to
and
him.
got to him right away.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um,
it was handled very well.
because no, honestly, I mean, some things are more important than the game too,
Yeah,
and the health and well-being of everybody is obviously number one. So it's
yeah,
good to see that even in a heated playoff matchup that both teams can kind of still come together and do what's right and everything too. So yeah,
Exactly.
but yeah, obviously his season's for sure done, but it's good to know that he's all a-okay. So.
yeah.
But yeah, that shit was scary,
I
man.
wanted to make sure we touched on it because their first goal was after the medical
Yeah,
After,
emergency. So
yeah.
yeah,
I didn't want to gloss over it.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that was a hard thing to reset from. Um, glad glad he's all right.
yeah, no doubt. And then They got that power play goal and then Samuel Oremba. How about that play from Brody Gillespie off the wall leading to that 2-on-1 rush with Oremba too? I don't know if he has eyes in the back of his head or if he guessed perfectly, but that was literally just the pin perfect play. Like facing the other way, the puck comes to him. The guy's just jumping off of the bench for Prince George,
That
and he
was
just
crazy.
happens to like chip it right around him, and then skate in with Oremba, who one timed it stick side on Ravensburgen to get the Chiefs on the board. A huge goal right there. I mean, if the Chiefs don't answer that first goal within the first 5 minutes like they did, I'd be concerned going into the third period for sure.
Yeah, we probably have a different outcome at that point.
But it's once again late in the period, getting another penalty and giving up another power play goal to Tarek Parasak going into the second intermission. Hate giving up those late goals, especially
Ex-
hate giving up the late goals in an elimination game.
Mhm.
Uh,
Exactly.
that was a huge downer, but then the third period comes, and the third period is when shit got even crazier, believe it or not. Um,
I believe it.
so that hit on Sparks.
Yes. Blindside.
Going back and looking at it, I saw more of a suicide pass
Yes.
that Sparks just happened to unfortunately be on the receiving end of. Vaughn read it right away. A player like Jackson, or not Jackson, Corbin Vaughn is,
Are they brothers?
yeah, they're twins.
Are they?
Um, a player like Vaughn, who's a controversial player, no doubt, but a very physical guy, he's gonna know when to take advantage of those situations. And
Oh yeah,
Sparks was facing the other way, and just it was a blindside hit. It was,
it was.
but it was clean.
Right.
And it was an unfortunate result, but it was the same thing that we harped on last episode with the Gillespie hit on Carroll's in game one. Just because a guy gets injured doesn't necessarily make it a dirty play.
Exactly.
And it sucks because now we're going to be without Sparks. But uh, like we were just alluding to a little bit ago, after that hit and the power play goal from Gazowski on the instigator penalty that Wormwood got for going after Vaughn, this team turned something snapped in this team, and they said, guys, we got 15 minutes left. If we don't score two goals, our season's done.
We're not
And
going out this way. Yeah.
exactly, and we talked earlier about playing gutsy. This was the gutsiest moment that I've seen this team have this season.
The whole season.
Um,
I agree.
I mean, the last 10 minutes alone was just I need more of that. And that's what this team has lacked all year is those
They
kind
have.
of those kind of performances.
It's not even desperation. It's just
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know what you want to call it.
it's like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Determination. Determination is a better word than desperation.
Yeah, but that hit. What did you guys think of that hit?
I wasn't really looking at it when it happened live. I mean, I've seen the replays, obviously. Like you said, it wasn't a dirty hit by any means,
Yeah.
I think
but
initially,
it was
oh,
a
sorry,
hard
Chad.
hit. No, you're good. It was a hard hit.
Yeah, I can't sit here and like after I just bitched for about 15 minutes last episode about how just because it's an injury, it's not a penalty. I can't sit here and go back on that. But it's hard as a Chiefs fan, after knowing what happened to Sarkinov and how the guy that he hit was fine. Just,
Right.
maybe he was shooken up and a little concussed for a second or whatever, but he got up and he's continued to play. Sparks was genuinely hurt.
Yeah.
True.
And
True.
it was really hard as a Chiefs fan, and all the Chiefs fans around me. I was sitting in 117. There was a couple guys behind me who were obviously diehard, and they
Yeah,
were having
Nick. I know who they
yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and they were having none of it. Like he was calling it dirty. He was like, I need a major. I need this guy in jail. And they're tending to Sparks, and he's very obviously really hurt. And it's hard, in the moment to not get caught up in all of that and be like, well, fuck, like it was a penalty when it happened to our guy,
Right.
and I don't know. It is what it is. Those things happen. It's playoff hockey. Guys get hurt. I can't go back on what I said. I've seen the replays. It was a clean hit. It was a hard hit. Got to keep your head up. He got a suicide pass thrown to him. These things happen. It's unfortunate. Really, the worst thing of it is just the fact that Sparks' shoulder is cooked, and
Yeah.
we're losing
exactly.
probably our best sniper for the remainder of whatever the rest of the playoff run that they do is. So that sucks. I mean, that's a hard player to replace. Maybe it makes some lineup decisions a little easier. Like Ozzy can get in. There's no like, I don't know, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. But again, like it's hard to not look at the positive and be like, well, shit, something triggered the turnaround, and between all the cockiness from Prince George, both Corbin Vaughn and then the way they celebrated their third goal, which was flat out disrespectful. I don't know how close you were watching the celly, but
it was excessive.
Oh man,
oh yeah,
it had my blood hot, and he's a former Chief, so
right.
that kind of also added to it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So
Patrick had me dying in the concourse as we were leaving. He came up behind me and he's like, "Let's go!" And then he goes, "Fuck Cooper Gazowski." It was so funny. I love
just
that
on
kid.
just on the concourse.
Yeah, I love that kid, dude. But yeah, I agree. And I said that earlier. I sent you guys that screenshot earlier tonight of that post that the Prince George fan made about, comparing the Sarkinov hit to the Vaughn hit on Sparks. And, I was saying, yeah, there's some Chiefs fans for sure that are sitting there complaining that it was a dirty hit. And I said the only reason that, people are saying that is A, because of Vaughn's known history of disciplinary issues and what had happened earlier in the series with Gillespie and Sarkinov. I mean, that's the only reason. Fans are feeling like they're not being officiated evenly.
Like they've been slighted. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally it. And our guy is legitimately injured and he's done for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but on the brighter side, what I did really like seeing is he was back in the locker room for 5 minutes or whatever. He came back out with a sling and an ice pack on and watched the rest of the game and overtime on the monitor in the hallway in the tunnel. So, I mean, that's something that shows that player gives a shit.
He cares.
He cares a lot.
No, for sure. He 100% could have just packed it in and stayed in the locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he wants to be out there with his team. And that, I think, goes a long way, not only for like, the fans. Like, obviously a player of that caliber, you want to have them there and you want them to want to be here. And seeing that, it's like, okay, he wants to be here. And I was actually talking to I don't remember who I was talking to at I don't even think it was the last game. I think it was the game before. Apparently Sparks had made it known before he went to Vancouver that it was his dream to play for the Chiefs because he's from Idaho. He's from Meridian, Idaho.
Yeah, which is not that far from here.
No, and that makes complete sense. Obviously, it's the closest team, and so I'm sure he loves being here, no doubt about it. But that's the one thing that I saw the rest of that game is I saw a lot of guys out there that showed their passion for this team in the city.
Oh yes,
it speaks to the culture.
Yeah, it does.
We've questioned where the culture was for large swaths of this year because it seemed like losing Catton the way we lost Catton, as well as a few other things. It seemed like maybe they were kind of a rudderless ship. But whatever they've done recently, it seems that culture and that passion, the love for Spokane is really truly there. It's not just fan service. It's not just lip service when Jay Stewart pulls them aside after a game and has them talk about, and when they could very easily just be like, "Oh, I love it here. I love the fans," and not mean it. But there's probably players, I'm not going to name names, that have said that very same thing that didn't mean it.
Right.
And I had said something on one of the Chiefs Facebook posts about how it got like way more likes than I thought it would. But I not that I was trying to like farm or anything, but I had said something about like we really as a fan base. I wasn't trying to speak for everybody, but as a fan base, the comeback and the energy that they showed means a lot to us.
Oh yeah,
No
Yeah.
doubt.
seeing what they did, like they so easily after they fell down 2 goals could have given up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And honestly, it wouldn't have shocked me one bit if they did.
Agreed.
And they just whatever gear they found in those final 12 minutes, it spoke volumes, and it meant a lot to me as a fan to watch them play that way.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And so, not trying to get emotional, but no, it was awesome. I mean, that was an incredible comeback. I've never seen a 3,100 strong crowd that electric and hype.
Oh, it was
Exactly.
It was, dude.
I mean, you can make an argument that the vibe in the arena beat anything that a sellout during the regular season against Tri-City
1,000%,
do.
dude.
That's
1,000%.
the first time ever heard everybody yelling out in the concourse going into their cars too after the game.
Dude,
After the game,
people were chanting in the concourse. Like,
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was awesome. Like, I love that stuff.
me too.
And obviously, for a weeknight game, it's inherently going to have the more passionate fans,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Mhm.
a weeknight game that started at 6. I mean, there's people that don't get off work until 6,
Exactly.
and it just, it was an awesome environment. It's been kind of a thing that the Prince George fans I see online have been throwing around, like, oh, they don't sell fucking seats there. That place is empty. It's like, yeah, but when it's a 10,300 seat facility and it's
exactly.
it's a junior hockey game on a Thursday at
And we're
6.
playing Prince George, which nobody cares about.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, we would be ignorant to sit here as junior hockey fans and say that junior hockey in Spokane is a major priority for a lot of people. It isn't.
Exactly.
Like, the Chiefs have their niche in Spokane, and there's tons of people that come to the games just on a whim. But
For sure.
in general, the hardcore fan base is about probably, I don't know,
I'd say
5,000 strong.
Yeah.
Of
And
the
the-
same people that come to the games and have season tickets, and
Basically the same night that the baseball season starts too.
yeah,
People are getting into spring sports.
yeah, and and it's cool though, because it feels like we all kind of know each other. Like, even if we don't know each other by name, we see the same people all the time.
Exactly.
When you're a season ticket holder, you build that camaraderie with the people around you and everything. So I just a little sidebar to kind of push back against the narrative that we can't sell tickets. That's
Exactly.
not true. It's just, but again, it looks bad. It does. Like, when these little Canadian barns are packed on a Wednesday, and then you look at the Spokane Arena and it looks like no one's there. Not a great look, but
That's because they have nothing better to do in those little Canadian towns.
Yeah, and again, as Americans in a major city, it would be ignorant to think that it doesn't mean more to people where that's all they got.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, think back to the Medicine Hat series last year. Medicine Hat is far as fuck away. Like, it's not as far as Prince George, but far away.
Yeah.
Those people flooded our arena.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
they were loud too, man.
At least, like, they filled a section.
Yeah, they were loud.
There was at least a few hundred of them that took off work, took vacation, spent money to come down here, get hotel, like, eat all the food, whatever, and go to the 3 games that we had at the arena and watch their team win the championship.
Then you got to feel like they knew what they had too, so it was worth making the trip for them.
Yeah,
they have something pretty special.
Yeah, and frankly, like, yeah, you'll see a Chiefs fan or two on the road at a road game, but it's not going to be like that for us. It just isn't.
No.
Say hi, Current.
Hi, Current.
So, attendance-wise, I thought, even
aren't we still like 5th in the whole CHL or something like that?
Yes,
attendance?
I actually just pulled this up because I wanted to use that as a talking point in regards to that. The Chiefs' average attendance this season was 6,588 per game average.
Yeah.
And that is 6th in the entire CHL, 2nd in the WHL behind Edmonton.
There's tons of barns in this league that don't even have that many
See,
seats.
that's crazy to me. We were second in WHL because you think of what Portland plays in and how many more they can hold and stuff too. That's crazy to think that we finished second in the WHL as
And then
well.
if we want to talk, I use this as a talking point on a few back and forths I had with some Prince George fans online too. If you look at the attendance over the years of the history of the Cougars franchise, it started out in the late 90s, early 2000s, about, 5,500 to 5,800 for the first
Mhm.
couple of seasons. Gradual decrease. Lowest it got was 2013-14, where they averaged 1,693 per game.
They averaged 1,600.
Yeah, and then even this year they averaged about 4,100, and last year they averaged about 4,100. So it's like when the team is good, the fans are going to come out and watch, and you expect that from
Right.
any team, honestly. I mean, the Chiefs numbers had dropped a little bit in the couple of years pre-pandemic, and then obviously, after the pandemic was pretty low for a while too. And then they had that year they had last year, and people were like, "Oh shit, this team is
Yeah.
good. Let's go watch it." I'm not going to blame them for that, but
No.
you can't talk shit about teams' attendance when our average attendance is almost double what your arena can hold.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Right.
you just can't.
They're just grasping at straws because they get it on Victory Plus and they watch their commentators feed, and I'm sure maybe I don't know anything about their commentator, but maybe he comments on like the lack of fans or what he sees. I don't know. But then also, when the camera pans out, it's hard to not see there's a lot of fucking empty seats. In fact, they put the curtain around majority of the upper bowl.
Right.
Right.
You can't even see that. So it's an easy, low-hanging fruit type of thing to like throw in a Chiefs fan face, and it's stupid.
It
But
is.
I just wanted to address it.
Yeah. And one more thing I'll say on that too is if we got a Friday or a Saturday game, there'd be 8,000 people there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's. I mean, we got a Monday, a Wednesday, and a
Yeah,
Thursday.
Yeah.
Like
during the NCAA tournament on TV
Yeah.
too for Thursday. Yeah.
Anyways,
whatever.
going back to the last 10 minutes of game 5, Chiefs get a power play and finally are able to put one in the back of the net in the power play in game 5. Owen Martin, a shot from the point, got redirected right back to Owen Martin, and he buried it with what was it, 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes to go. And then Chiefs pulled the goalie, and Prince George boy Chase Harrington, puck finds him right on the stick, and he taps it in.
That doesn't feel good.
That was the first sign that I noticed. I noticed pride.
Yeah.
In the team, really. When Harrington scored that goal, when he's skating to the bench and he's grabbing his jersey and showing the logo, I love that. I love that
against the team that he probably grew up rooting for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I love that shit. I mean, the arena exploded when that puck went in, and then obviously we go to overtime, and then we were talking about a little bit ago too that chip that entry that Sarkinov had going into the zone, chipping it all the way around the boards, and then just that little flick of the puck around the defenseman to get it to Harrington, and Harrington did the rest. Chiefs were putting the pressure on all of overtime too. I mean, there was a couple of defensive lapses where Prince George had odd man rushes that were scary. But thankfully they missed the net, or Carter Esser made a huge save.
Yeah, no, they just like we had opportunities to end it earlier in overtime, they sure did too. There was a couple of opportunities right in front of me that I was about ready to just pack it in because
exactly.
Whew, that was close.
But yeah, Chase Harrington. I mean, the Chiefs had in the offensive zone for quite a while too, and then Sarkinov toward the end of his shift just found a little bit more to chip that puck to Harrington, and he did the rest, skating to the slot. Nobody seemed to pick him up, which I thought was a little bit strange because PG had been playing pretty good defensively in overtime too up to that point. And there was a shit ton of traffic in front. Ravensburg couldn't see anything, but once again, Harrington becomes the hero, and what a celly too.
I was going to say, I didn't even see the puck actually go in. I just saw him start to celly.
Yeah,
and that's how I knew we scored.
what a sell, going right back to Ezzy at the other end too, and that the 3,100 people in the arena just exploded. I
It was
mean,
loud.
you could
It
almost
was
feel that
loud.
shit shaking.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome. And yeah, I mean, again, that's got to feel great for Harrington. Getting his first two goals of the playoffs too, right there, in
Hmm.
that sequence, and saving the season. I mean,
Basically,
let's just say it how it
it's
is. He
it's that
saved our
simple.
season. He
Yeah.
pretty much single-handedly did that, and it's the backs against the wall mentality that they had to play with in that game really showed, especially in the last 10 minutes of the third period and overtime. I mean, they were resilient.
Yeah. To not have anything to show on the scoreboard before that, and then
Yeah, I
to
mean,
not go down more than we were originally too.
yeah.
They
And now
battled.
and now it's just going to come down to continuing to play that way come game 6 tomorrow night. How are you boys feeling?
I feel like we have a little bit of an edge, but it's going to take some non-homer refereeing to keep our cool. I feel like I don't want the frustration to creep back in that did the first two games up there in the series.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about that, but I feel like we've gone over the hump a little bit though too.
I'm not necessarily concerned about, I'm not too concerned about the officiating personally because I feel like I said earlier, I feel like we're playing a lot more disciplined in the last couple of games. So as long as they can continue that trend,
I
then I
don't
think we'll
feel
be
like it's
fine.
the actual officiating that's an issue. The actual things that happen. It's what they choosing to call and what they're choosing not to call.
Yeah, there's a lot of chintzy things that you shouldn't be calling in a playoff game.
Exactly. Those first two games up there, I felt that there was a lot of chinty stuff.
And I'm going to
Those
be
those
honest.
those two referees in particular, those first two games.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I don't think that Coco Armstrong hit should have been a 5-minute major personally.
No.
No. No.
But
Minor,
penalty,
but
yes,
not a
no doubt
major.
about it.
No.
Not a major.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. At this point,
That major actually worked out pretty well in our
it
favor.
did.
Yeah, it
It
did.
did. It did.
But
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to kind of keep a neutral mindset going in like I did the last two games. Just kind of thinking, whatever happens, happens. But
Exactly.
like you said, it's hard after watching the performance that these guys put up the last couple games not to feel like we have the edge.
Exactly.
And you gotta hope that Prince George is just shaking in their boots.
Their backs are against the wall for sure compared to us. They have to be.
I mean, ours are against the wall, but they
But
have to feel like they are.
exactly.
It's that house money thing again.
Exactly.
Like they should have closed this shit out on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the rest of the series in the West. The rest of them were fucking dog shit. I mean,
They
yeah,
were.
Seattle dragged Penticton to Game 5, but who cares? Like the West was that. Shout out to the East actually because they're pretty even for the most part in
So
those
Mhm.
series.
right,
Some of those
agreed.
are still going, but
There's only
we're
one sweep in the East.
yeah, we're all that's left in the West. Everything else is
Mhm.
over. And it honestly looked like the Chiefs were going to meet the same fate that the other teams did in the West of just easy sweep, see ya,
Yeah.
and they didn't. So, um, I I'm feeling pretty good. I I think if they can weather the storm in the first period, get out of that period either tied or in the lead, I
I was
think they
gonna say
got
if we can have a first period like we did in game one where we actually took it to them and
yeah.
not relinquish it this time, it would do us well.
If the Chiefs win Game 6 tomorrow, I think they're going to do it. I
Yeah.
really do. I really do because these are kids,
Yeah.
and it's bad. It's hard enough on NHL players if they blow a 3-0 lead to
Mhm.
come out for that Game 7. And granted, I think there's only what 4 or 5 reverse sweeps like in the entire history of the
Yeah.
NHL.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more common in this league. I think there was actually one last year.
Yeah. I
Was
believe
it
there
Was
was.
it Lethbridge and
There
Prince
were
Albert?
I don't remember the teams, but I do remember there being one
There was a reverse sweep.
recently.
Anyway, I think if the Chiefs win tomorrow, I have a very difficult time imagining a world where the Prince George Cougars don't just absolutely shit their pants
Mhm.
and lose Game 7.
Yeah.
I like the way you're thinking.
That's where my head is at. So if I'm a Cougars fan or just Prince George in general, I feel like tomorrow's got to be the night because,
Yeah.
man, if this gets to Game 7, you want to talk about nervous energy in that arena?
Dude, no kidding.
Dude, I was already seeing a small subset of Cougar fans like starting to question their coaching and
Yeah.
and their killer instinct and some other things of just being like, hey, this should be over. What are we doing?
Mhm.
And granted, fuck them because they were the ones that were like, oh, we gotta close this out, come back to Prince George, get our extra rest,
Yeah.
and
Get the brooms out.
just being absolutely disrespectful. So reap what you sow, baby.
Exactly. I mean, hoping karma's going to be a bitch.
So, but overall, I'm at peace. I feel even if the Chiefs lose tomorrow or in Game 7, I'm gonna be disappointed. But at the same time, the fact that we're even having this conversation right now after they
Yeah.
went down 3-0 is a testament to them and what they gave us on Thursday was special.
It was very
was.
special.
You don't see many games like that where you have a comeback like that and the emotions tied with it and everything that happened with Sparks getting his shoulder blown up, Kazicki's spleen, just everything that happened on Thursday. Yeah, I'm at peace, but if they get through tomorrow, I think we can go ahead and book our tickets to Everett because
Yeah.
I don't see the Cougars being able to win Game 7.
Dude, yeah. You know what? That was a hell of a motivational speech you just gave right there, and I'm on your boat now.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at.
I love it. I love it.
If Prince George is going to win this series, it has to be tomorrow night.
I agree. Boys, Game 7, if there is going to be a Game 7, it's the following night too, so they're not going to have much time to think about it. They're just going to have to go, go. So
Nope. And we have all of the momentum right now.
yeah.
All of it. Gotta keep it though. Momentum's fickle.
Exactly.
Could lose it very quickly, very easily. Just like the Cougars did.
Exactly. Keys to the game. Stay out of the box.
Yep.
Number one.
Say what do we need to do differently, if anything?
Stay out of the box. They have the most lethal power play of
At least against us, they do.
Yeah, if any team in the West, they have the most lethal power play, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Stay out of the box, play disciplined. Don't give in to Prince George trying to, egg you into a penalty.
Get called for that second infraction.
They're going to be doing it all night, and they're going to have the crowd behind them. It's going to be
they were able to do in the first two games. They were able to get us to play that game.
They're going to be in enemy territory. They just gotta stay in their own heads and play their game, and they're going to be just fine if they play like they did on Thursday.
Well, I feel like our discipline has gotten better as the series got on.
By far.
The beauty of being the road team, though, is you have the power to shut those people up.
Exactly.
If they come out and they jump out to like a 2-0 lead or something, the Chiefs, I should say.
Yeah.
That place will be quiet as hell. Granted,
yep.
Won't take much to get them back into it, but if you can get them out of it and keep them out of it, the crowd actually works to your favor at that point. And so there's advantages there of being the road team.
And let's not get cute. Let's throw lots of pucks on goal. We're going to have to make saves.
I almost wonder how, obviously Ravensburgen's a very good goaltender. I'm sure he's got his mental game under control and everything too, but I wonder if he's a little bit rattled right now too.
He's probably not sleeping very well tonight, I'm guessing.
Well, let me read a little something from my father-in-law who works for the media team. Let me see if I can find it.
You sent me that, dude. I was dying.
Yeah. So the setup to this is they have a fan cam in the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, shortly after the game was over...
They being the Chiefs, right?
Yeah. And Ravensburgen is heard saying, or he slams his stick against the wall and says, "God, I fucking hate it here," as he's
Dude.
walking off the ice.
I laughed so hard when you sent me that.
As a teenager playing on the opposite team.
So funny.
That is
So,
funny.
again, he's had a couple days to reset. Goalies are fucking lunatics anyway.
They are.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably going to be okay. Again, get him off his game. He looks a little shaky. But if you let him be in his game and you can't score on him, he's really hard
He's rock
to
solid,
solve.
yeah.
So, but I just thought that was pretty funny. Little inside
is
baseball
funny.
there
That
that
was-
you
That is funny.
wouldn't normally hear something like that if you didn't have somebody that was working
On the inside?
in the inside. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah, it's just gonna be there's the Chiefs know what they got to do. They
They
got to
do.
get pucks on net. They got to take away his eyes, and they know what they got to do to beat him. And I think Sarkinov is going to be a key guy.
I do too. One way or
in
another,
this
I
game.
agree.
I mean, he has been so solid in every single game he's played in this series.
Yeah.
And like we've been alluding to, they can't solve him.
No.
I mean, he is so strong with the puck on the boards. Like his board game is one of the best I've seen all season.
And I personally love it when he comes down a wing and just tucks that puck and leans back a little bit and goes for the net.
That's the thing. He's so strong. He's able to do that with one hand and hold the defenseman off
Exactly.
with his other.
Nobody
It's
else in this
impressive.
league can do that. Yeah.
No, it's impressive. And
It is.
and so he's going to be a key guy. He needs to stay in front of the net and on the board battles, he's got to continue to do that. And if they do that, the Chiefs are going to have plenty of success.
I think so.
All right, boys.
Yep.
Any final thoughts?
Go Chiefs, go. Game 6.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's-
I've said my piece.
Let's go get
Yeah.
another W
Let's do it.
so we can play another game after that. That's
two
what I'm
word, the best
That's
two
what-
words in hockey, game 7.
That's what I'm hoping
Let's
for.
hope we can get there.
I'm hoping.
All right, boys.
Go Chiefs, go.
Go Chiefs, go.
Go Chiefs, go.